So good afternoon, well, good evening, everybody. My name is Doris Davis, and I'm from Palm Beach County Community Services. And today I'm going to talk to you about how to apply for CARES applications. So what this is today, what we're doing is just having a discussion about applying for CARES Act applications using our Oscars system. I'll briefly go over how to apply for CARES Act rental and utility applications, and then I will review many of the mistakes that have prevented or delayed processing and payment for many of the applications that we have at this time. So benefits of participating in this webinar, well, you can ask questions to help you prepare for your application. You can see examples of the documents that you need so that your application can be processed quickly. You can learn about common mistakes and how to avoid those mistakes on your application. And because you have participated in this webinar, you will receive a direct notification of when the system reopens so that you can resubmit or resubmit your application. Okay, so there are several ways that you can access our application system. You can go to pbcgov.com/Oscars, or you can simply type in rental assistance Palm Beach County or rental assistance pbc.org or utility assistance pbc.org. And all of these URL addresses will take you directly to the application where you can register and log in. So if you don't have an account, you will need to register for a new account. If you do have an account, you can go ahead and sign in. Once you register, if you're registering for the first time, you'll read the terms of agreement in English, Spanish, and Creole. They're there in those three languages. Once you read them, you can accept at the bottom of the page. And then you will complete the registration. Now, once you have completed the registration, you will receive an email with an activation link to, you'll receive a notice to your email account with an activation link. You'll need to activate your account by clicking on that link, and then it will bring you back to the login page. Now, also on the registration page are details about you, your name, your date of birth, your email address. You can set up your password, your social security number, and your address. Now, one of the common mistakes that we've seen people make is that your date of birth and your social security number are paired with your email address. So if you type in your date of birth incorrectly or your social security number incorrectly, then when you go to forgot password or try to reset your account, it won't reset it for you because you've probably typed in a date of birth or your social security number incorrectly. So make sure that you pay attention. Sometimes the system defaults to 2020 when the calendar pulls up when you're typing in your date of birth. Any dates in this system will pull up a small calendar. So if the calendar defaults to 2020, you have to be sure to change that to your year of birth, or you're going to be a baby and born all over again. Okay, and then make sure you use an email address that you use often and one that you're going to remember, because a lot of people don't remember their email addresses. We cannot reset that account if you don't even remember which email address you used. Okay, and then I also want to say that we communicate a lot with email in this system. So you want to have a good working email account that you have used often in the past. Okay, so once you log in, if you do have issues where you forgot your password or you don't remember your password or you forgot your email account, you can also call our offices at 561-355-4792, and any worker that answers the phone can reset your password. Okay, so once you sign in, you'll first come to the client activity page. You need to select the red button to apply for COVID-19 assistance. At this time, our COVID applications are suspended, except you can still apply for assistance with food. Now, there's usually a button there that says you can apply for regular applications, but that's also suspended until October 1st so that we have time to catch up with the number of applications that we have in the system right now. So this is a time to really work on your application, get it right, upload all the correct documents so you'll be ready to resubmit it or submit it on October 1st. Okay. So when you first log in, when you first click on your application, you'll see at the top that all of the client details are already pre-filled. So that information came straight from your registration, and it will be that way throughout this application system. The system will go ahead and fill in all the information that from your profile that you've already typed in. You'll need to answer all of the eligibility questions, such as, are you a Palm Beach County resident? Were you current on your bills prior to COVID-19? Were you employed or self-employed before COVID-19? Are you currently a client of community services? Have you received any subsidy, assistance, or rental or utilities from another entity? Did you lose your job, or did you have a reduction in hours worked after March 13? Did you lose your self-employment business, or did you have a significant decrease in your customers? Did you apply for unemployment, or did you start receiving unemployment after March 13? And are you able to provide documents to verify your employment status and unemployment claim? Okay, and then the next section will ask you which service you'd like to request. Which would you like to have help with? Food, gas, electric, rental, and water. So right now, gas, electric, rental, and water are all shaded, but you can still select food at this time. You can submit a food application if you don't already have an application in the system. If you already have an application pending or a submitted status in the system, and you would like to add food, you can call our offices and a worker can add food to your application. If you have had an application that was processed and paid out already, you will need to come in and do another application for food. If you have requested food in the past, your application has already been processed, and you were denied the food because we didn't have it available at the time, you don't have to do anything. You will receive your card in about 2 weeks from our vendor, and that will be a Visa prepaid card. So in this section, you will select the services for which you need help once it opens up again. So for the rent section, there are going to be some additional questions. Answer the questions for the services that you need. Make sure that all of your landlord information is there and correct. Reach out to your landlord. Find out what address he uses when he receives payments, or she receives payments. Get a good email address, because we're going to reach out to your landlord, and we're going to need to have good contact information so that we can reach your landlord and be able to work with him. Every landlord that is going to receive payment from the county needs to become a county vendor. So we're going to send an email link to your landlord. We're going to let him know that you have applied for assistance, that you want to get help with your rent, and that he needs to sign up to become a county vendor, a registered county vendor. So we need good information for your landlord. Okay, so common mistake number 2, that's exactly where I was going. If your landlord's information is incorrect, this will delay your application. It is 100% going to delay your application. You're going to have problems if we can't get in touch with your landlord, or we don't have information about your landlord. So, and then also understand that we can only cover 3 months of past due rent, or up to $5,800. That is what the CARES Act stipulates. So then on the electricity section, on the additional questions on the application, answer the questions for your utility services. Make sure you have completed all information related to your utility bill. If we have to request your utility bill for you, this will delay your application. Your application can be returned to you until you provide a clear and legible utility bill as well. So you want to make sure that we have good information. We have your account number, we have the vendor's name, whether it's electricity, water, or gas. We need that information so that we can select the correct vendor to pay on your behalf. So Common mistake number 3. In the application, there's a self-attestation section where you can select how you lost income or you lost hours at your job. Give the reviewers an explanation of your situation. It helps them understand the documentation they're reviewing. So we need to know what's going on with you and what happened and how you were affected by COVID-19. So provide as much information about your crisis as you can. As you can see on this section, I wrote in, my hours at my job were reduced because the store changed to limited hours in March due to COVID. Because of this change, I am only working 20 hours when I used to work 40 hours per week. So that explains exactly what happened to me and why I'm not making the same amount of money that I used to make and why I cannot now pay my bills. So make sure that you give us a good explanation. And this now is built into our system, so you don't have to come up with the form. But if you do have a form, this is a form that we have been using. If you are sent a form by a worker, maybe you had an earlier application before we made changes to the system, you can fill out this form. We want you to complete the address information, complete information about pre-COVID earnings, and then once again, completely explain the loss of your income. Tell us what happened and how COVID-19 affected you. So you can use the self-attestation form or you can use the narrative that's built into the system. Okay. So then at the bottom of the application, there are some acknowledgements that you need to understand, and then you will select that you understand you are applying for emergency assistance. But the acknowledgements are as follows. You understand you are applying for emergency assistance due to COVID-19 crisis. This application is a result of a temporary loss of income due to COVID-19. You have to understand this is a one-time assistance and it only covers past due expenses. We cannot cover future expenses. You must have been employed prior to COVID-19 crisis and you must have experienced a reduction of hours or a loss of employment. Then you have to acknowledge that you understand this is a first come, first serve assistance, and this will end once funding is no longer available. And then you understand that this application can be denied or will be denied if you do not submit valid verifications with your application. And some of that verification can be pay stubs, a statement from your employer, application acknowledgement of unemployment, your unemployment compensation approval notice. Now, if it's pending or denied, you might need to provide some backup documentation, just like I told you before, that self-attestation form can sit in as documentation to help you explain the situation or how your income was affected. If you were self-employed, you can provide a self-employment license or a copy of your tax returns prior to COVID, which would be your 2019 tax returns or your most recent tax returns, excuse me. And then your bank statements or your ledger from your business that shows that you have not received any business or that your accounts have not gotten any, have had a decrease in the amount of customers that you have been serving. And then you have to certify that you have not received benefits for the same service and the same time periods from other funding sources or entities. And you certify that you've participated in completion of the above COVID application for services. And then we want you to understand that you are providing this information to the best of your knowledge and your belief, and that it is accurate, that you are telling us the accurate information and that you are responsible for the accuracy of the information that you provide, because we are using this information to determine your eligibility for services. And then also that any false or misleading information could lead to a violation that is punishable by law. Okay, so once you read over those acknowledgements and click that you understand, you would hit next. And then once again, your personal details will show up. They've already been filled out. You fill that out when you created your profile. You can just look over them. If anything has changed, such as your phone number, or any other information you'd like to change, you can change it at that time. You can review your address information. This also comes from your profile that will already be pre-filled. It's a good idea to add an emergency contact. So if we can't reach you, we can reach out to your emergency contact and say, hey, have you seen Doris? Can you have her give us a call? If we don't have your information, we can't reach out to you. Okay, then the next tab, and as you can see, the application follows along some tabs, and they're all the same. So for every application you do in our system, it's going to follow along the same lines. So on this tab, you'd add additional household members. Add any additional household members that you need to add. You just click on the little man here, and it will add a line for you to fill in the information. And then you would hit next. Then you need to explain the relationship of those household members. So here you can see I've added a son. My son is 8 years old, and he and I are the only two in our household. So once you complete the number of people that are in your household, you hit next. And then at this point, you can add household income for every adult. We'd like to see, we'd like to make a determination of what your income was prior to COVID-19. By collecting all the income of the adults in the household. Now, you don't necessarily have to, if there are children in your household under 18, you don't have to provide any income. The system will let you move forward. But if there are adults in the household, you may need to provide some information about whether those adults are working. Okay. So our income guidelines for the CARES Act funding is 140% of the area median income. And area median income is pretty high. It's called AMI. It's fairly high. So we're going to have a lot of people that are going to be eligible for this, this funding. For a household of one, for example, you can't make more than $86,100. And I would make a joke about it, but that includes a lot of us. Okay, so but Oscars will give you, once you put in all of your information, Oscars will give you an eligibility outcome. It will tell you that based on the information you provided, you may be eligible for this service that you're asking for. And then if you are over the income, or there's some information that in your application that deems you ineligible, it will tell you also at this time. You can select next. So then it's time to upload all of your supporting documents. Now you've told us your situation. Now we're asking you to provide documentary evidence to prove your situation, okay? Can't just take your word for it. So common mistake number 4 that we see happening on a lot of applications, you know, for the rent, the balance statement. Now we have loaded a balance statement into our system that you can upload. Let me skip to the next screen. Right here, it says form to download. So you can click on that form to download, and it will open up a blank balance statement. This is what we need you to get your landlord to complete. You can fill it out. Your landlord can fill it out. You can fill it out together, but you guys need to be on the same page. The information should all be on the balance statement, and it should match up with everything that's on your lease. So whatever information, the tenant's name should be the same as what's on the lease. Your information should be completed with the correct address. Make sure you put the address as it is stated in the lease. And then total up the amount of rent that you owe. Go ahead and write a total in there for how much rent that you owe. And then here at the bottom, we want you to break down how you came at that total. So for this application or this balance statement, it says April, May, and June, $1,200 a month with $50 late charge for each month, comes out to $3,750. So you provide the months you are late, the amount, and any late charges. Make sure you include all of that. Your landlord or his or her representative should print and sign their name. Now, this is also a common mistake that I made. I put the signature I printed the name where the signature goes, and then I sign where the print name should go. But that's quite all right. This is not a mistake that's going to stop anything. The things that will stop this application from moving forward is if there's no the totals don't match up, or these amounts don't add up to 3750. That can be a problem. The address being different or not the same as what's on the lease can be a problem, and also the names. So make sure that you are very carefully filling out this form. It's very simple, but it can be misconstrued, and not everybody understands that you need to break down exactly how much rent you owe for each month and what late charges you have, if any. If the landlord is not charging you any late charges, you just put 0 and you move forward. Okay. Oh, finally, I also have to say, make sure your landlord has signed this document and he is willing to become a county vendor, and he's willing to wait on this payment, because if he doesn't work with you and us, then there's no way that we can help you with your rental bill. Okay. Okay, so once again, the balance statement is located on our website under supporting documents. You just click on form to download. It will open up. You can print it or you can download it to your computer. You can type right into the form. And then you can save it and then email it to your landlord and have him sign it. Okay, it's a good idea to work with your landlord. So common mistake number 5, the leases. The leases are a really big thing that are holding up a lot of the applications. Make sure your lease, like I said before, matches your balance statement and your application. So the lease term cannot be expired. The lease should list the monthly rent amount. And if you have other fees or charges on your rent, like let's say your landlord charges you $10 a month for the trash, that can be added onto that balance statement, but it needs to also be on your lease. You can't add it on the balance statement and expect us to make payment to it if it doesn't show on the lease. We are including whatever charges your landlord charges you, whatever amounts he charges you for a monthly pet fee. If that is detailed in your lease, we will cover it if it's not an exorbitant amount. Okay, so the lease term, make sure the lease is not expired. It shouldn't be expired. If you have moved from, you finished out your lease and you're going to a month-to-month rental agreement, make sure that there's an addendum there that states that, and that it has a recent date, not a date that's 4 or 5 years old. The applicant's name and the address should be on the lease. The lease address should be the same as listed on the application, and the lease should be signed by you and the landlord. So this is one of the common leases I found on the internet. And so you need to make sure that your lease agreement has all of these components. The lease address should match what's on the application and the balance statement. Make sure the applicant is listed on the lease as a tenant. The applicant needs to be on this lease as a tenant. The lease term should not be expired, and the monthly rent amount should be listed with the amount for the late charges. So once again, I can't say this enough. It must match the balance statement and the application. So common mistake number 6, earlier we talked about uploading a utility bill. Uploading a screenshot of the utility bills is not acceptable. We want to make things easy for you. You can take a picture of your power bill, your water bill, your gas bill, but don't send us a screenshot of a summary, because we need detailed information. We need to have details about your usage of this utility. So we need to know the service dates for that, for the utility use. We need to know the service address. Where is this utility service being used? We need to know who's on the account, what the name on the account, and we need to know all the charges that are are on the utility bill. So make sure you have a detailed bill. So this bill on the left-hand side is an example of the bill that we'd like to see. Now, if you don't receive bills in the mail, you can go to your FPL account. You can go to download bill, and they will you can download directly to your computer or your phone a copy of your bill, and you can take a screenshot of the actual bill. But we need to see all of this information. Okay, so I'm going to go over the ways to show your COVID-19 crisis. So, and only the applicant has to show proof of COVID-19 crisis. If the applicant is not the person that experienced the crisis, that is quite all right, as long as you are still showing that somebody in the household experienced a crisis. And you might need to write that in the narrative of that self-attestation statement, that your daughter that lives with you, that helps you pay bills, lost her job, and it has affected the whole household. That is quite all right. But what we're looking for is a letter from the employer stating that your job was shut down, or that you lost your job, or your work hours were reduced, or your schedule was reduced because of COVID-19. Then we're looking for unemployment claim or unemployment submitted application. You need to be able to show that you were approved for unemployment. If you are pending unemployment or you were denied, you will need to probably include a self-attestation statement to explain how your job loss was related to COVID-19. We need before crisis pay stubs and current pay stubs with reduced hours, so we can see the difference. And I'm going to show you an example in a few minutes. So that is how you show your COVID crisis. You can show pay stubs that show you're working at 40 hours per week, and then a pay stub that shows, hey, I got cut down to 20 hours per week. Here's my pay stub. Okay. And then evidence or loss of income if self-employed. For self-employment, you can use a tax return that shows in prior, like last year, that 2019, my business was booming, I was doing well, I was a travel agent. And then in March, when all the flights were canceled, my business went down. I'm not receiving any money. So you can either show us a business ledger or bank statements to show that your deposits were significantly decreased. Okay, common mistake number 7, just what I was telling you about, a letter from your employer. So a lot of people have trouble showing us that there was a COVID-19 related crisis. So if you're showing us a letter from your employer, make sure that it's on letterhead. If it's not on letterhead, it doesn't have to be fancy letterhead. It just needs to be something that shows us it's from your place of employment. The letter should clearly state that the layoff is due to COVID-19 shutdown. So, and make sure that the letter is dated. The very first paragraph of this letter explains that they are going to take actions to protect the public health in the wake of the coronavirus pandemic, and they're following the local mandatory closures, and that they are no longer able to conduct normal operations, and in some cases they're unable to remain open. So, and then it says in bold letters, this letter is to inform you that your employment with HH Employee Holdings is terminated effective March 19, 2020. So this letter clearly states that this person is being laid off because of COVID-19. So we need to make sure that if you go to your employer and they're willing to write you a letter, that they make it clear that this their closure or their layoff was due to coronavirus. So make sure that happens. Common mistake number 8, it's best to use the actual determination rather than a screenshot when you're providing us with information on your unemployment. As you can see on this unemployment, it says eligible redetermined, and then it says current program type. pandemic EUC. So this person received unemployment as a result of the pandemic. So right away, we don't have to do anything. We don't need any additional information. We know that this person was laid off, or their business or their, yeah, in some cases, some people have received business because of their business shutdown. They have received unemployment, and they can also show that. So this right away is no question about what has happened. This is proof enough to show your COVID-19 crisis. But if your unemployment determination says regular EUC, then that tells us it might not be COVID related. Although for some people, when they applied, they didn't know that they should have selected certain things to say that it was COVID related. So that's okay. We just need some additional information from you. We need you to fill out that attestation form, or fill in the narrative on the application to let us know exactly how your loss of income or your unemployment was due to COVID-19. Okay, so the date should be after March of 2020. Now, if you received unemployment and it started back in January, you won't qualify for, you won't be able to use that for COVID-19 crisis. Okay, you need to find something else, because in January we were all working. It was a normal world. So unemployment before COVID pandemic is not related to the shutdown. Okay, so just be prepared, not saying that you don't qualify, just be prepared to show other documentation to show your situation, or to explain your situation. And then common mistake number 9, make sure that your ID is not expired. CARES Act rules say that you must have an ID card. It cannot be expired. And we must have a copy of only the applicant's Social Security card. We don't have to have Social Security cards for the whole household. Make sure that your ID card is government issued, okay? And then we need a good copy of your Social Security card. If you don't have one, you can reach out to Social Security office and apply for a new Social Security card. You can go onto their website, and if you answer the questions correctly, you can get a statement with your Social Security number on it, and you can go ahead and get a new card. We can use that statement that has your number on it. If you get locked out, you just need to wait 24 hours and go back and try again. Sometimes you can give them a call, and then they will help you through that situation and help you get a new Social Security card. But we need a copy of that. Okay, so common mistake number 10 is showing the pre and post income. And I was telling you about that before. If you take a look at these pay stubs, this is not where it's supposed to be. If you take a look at these pay stubs prior to COVID-19, it shows the person's hours were at 65 hours per pay period. You can see here she was receiving 65 hours. And then on the next pay stub, it shows her hours were reduced to 42 hours. So she was able to show pay stubs from March that were 65 hours, and then pay stubs from July that are now at only 42 hours per pay period. So ensure that any income information you provide to us clearly shows that your hours or pay were reduced. As you can see on these pay stubs, her income and her hours were significantly reduced. Okay, so ways that you can show prior income: you can show pay stubs to show your income prior to COVID-19. Bank statements, if you're self-employed. If you are employed, you should have pay stubs. I know a lot of people will say, I get direct deposit, I don't get any pay stubs. Yes, you get pay stubs. If your job reports, if you receive a W-2, you get pay stubs. So, get in contact with your HR department. Tell them that you need access to your pay stubs or your past pay stubs, and they will help you get those pay stubs, because by law, they have to provide you with pay stubs. So your last tax return, if you're self-employed, you can use that to show your prior income. And then if you don't have reliable proof of your loss of income, you can use our self-attestation form to document what your income was, especially if you work under the table. You can also get a letter from your employer to say this is what you were making at this time, and that they had to lay you off. So you can also use that letter from your employer to show your prior income. Have them write a statement of how much you were making when you were working for them. Okay. And any community services department clients who have received services from us in the last 24 months are not required to submit income documentation unless a case manager deems it necessary. So for most cases, if you did receive a service from us in the last 24 months, you do not have to provide income documentation. You just need to provide information of how COVID-19 affected you. So you would provide the after COVID-19 documentation, not necessarily the prior. Okay, so once you have gotten through all of that, you can review the application. It'll show just how it is on this screen, and it shows this way also for the workers. You can review your application, you can read over it. You can, if you need to make any corrections, you would just hit previous, go back and make those corrections that you need to make. As you can see here, I've uploaded a document in every category, and I can then view all of those documents while before I submit this application. I can click on view and look at them one more time. If you see here on the top right hand corner, there's an edit button. If I needed to edit anything, I can go through and make those edits. You can see that there. So when I'm done reviewing the application, I can just hit submit, and my application will be submitted into the system. Okay. Now, to check the status of your application, you can go back to that first client activity page. And this is it in the background. You would hit view status over here on the right hand side. And this little window will pop up, and it will tell you your application number, whether it's been reviewed by CSD staff. And then at this time, we're not making appointments, so you wouldn't see anything in appointment details, but then it will tell you if the application has been processed. Okay, so right now, this application, I have not submitted it, so it's not showing as submitted at all. It's still in draft status. Okay, so I can go and make changes to it as much as I need to, and when I'm ready, I can go ahead and submit it. Okay. Now, if you need help uploading any pending documents, if a worker reaches out to you and says, hey, this lease is, I can't really read it. Do you want to try and send me another lease? And your lease is 43 pages long, and you don't want to go somewhere and have to pay for every page, or you aren't sure how to upload that many pages, and you can't necessarily take a picture of every page, you can call our offices, make an appointment, and you can drop off your documents. We will scan them and send them to the worker that's working with you. Now, you can use the same phone number, 561-355-4792, to make or confirm an appointment, and then confirm our drive-through hours. So we are conducting a drive-through at 810 Daytura Street in West Palm Beach and 1440 Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard in Riviera Beach on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 8:30 to 11:30 a.m. and 1 to 4. Now, if we're not expecting anybody, we might not be out there. So make sure you call and make an appointment to drop off your documents during those hours. And it's mandatory for you to wear a mask and then follow all social distancing guidelines when you arrive, because we want to keep everybody safe. Okay. And I see a community service department staff will help you make sure your documents are compiled and they're correct before they send them. And then they will make sure that they get an application number from you and write them on each of the documents, or you can write them on the documents yourself. Okay. If your application is submitted, just like the drive-through, you can go to any Palm Beach County library. You can go to the website palmbeachcountylibrary.org locations, and you can go to any of the locations that they have listed, and they have limited in-person services. They are not there to help you with your application. They are not there to answer a lot of questions about your application. They don't necessarily have access or command of our system, but they can scan in applications and either send them to us directly, or they can upload them directly into your application. Okay, so they are only receiving documents that you need to get scanned into the system. They are, if a case manager contacts you and says, hey, I need this, you can go to a library. If you are having trouble with completing your application, we have a list of agencies, partner agencies that are providing navigation services. Now, they are trained to help you submit your application and upload your documents. So some of the agencies I'll call them out, and then you can take a picture of this screen. Adopt a Family, which is a family division of the Lewis Center, Catholic Charities of the Diocese of Palm Beach, Community Partners Housing Services, Farm Worker Coordinating Council of Palm Beach County, Palm Beach County Housing Authority, Pathways to Prosperity down in Boynton, the Lord's Place, and the Urban League of Palm Beach County. They are all have workers on staff that are assisting with completing the application and then helping you upload documents or helping you submit missing things once your application is submitted. So they can help you before and after with your application. So the complete navigation of your application they can assist with. Okay. So if you have an issue that's not COVID related, we are not at this time, but in October 1, we will open up this service again. You can receive help through Oscars, which is our online system for community access to resources and social services. You can still go to our website, go down to the picture of our director, James Green, and underneath there's a little tab that says Apply Online. And you can just hit that Oscars button and you can apply for some of our regular services. We still have money for assistance with utilities and rent. And then we are offering vocational training for people that are looking to get back on their feet and find a job. And then there's also there's a how to apply video tutorial that kind of walks you through how to apply for those applications as well. And they're very similar to the CARES application. They just ask for different things. Okay, so like I told you before, right now that button is not showing because we have shut it down until October 1, but there is money out there for other services. So it will the button will show up on the client activity page right beside the apply for COVID-19 button. So right now we're only taking applications for food with COVID-19. We will begin taking applications again on October 1, and same thing for our assistance not related to COVID-19. You don't have to show a COVID crisis for the other services. Okay. If you are looking for help with evictions, right now there's a moratorium until the end of September, I believe. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But you can also take a picture of this page if your landlord or your property manager has already filed eviction process against you. Right now there's a moratorium, but some of them are still lining up to file. So if they file on you, here's some information of some agencies you can call that are assisting with helping you pay the rent or helping you get caught up if you're in that situation. So you can also snap a picture of this page if you think you might need that assistance. Okay, and I can go back to that if anybody needs me to. And so it's also helpful to visit our website. We have a CARES Act frequently asked questions that'll go over all the questions about CARES applications. It'll go over questions about Oscars, and we have online tutorial videos that you can watch before you complete your application. So we have a plethora of information on our website. You just need to check it out. If you have any questions, you can dial our phone number, 561-355-4792. We have a call center staff that are trained to answer your questions. If they don't know the answer, they will get you to somebody that can help you. And then City of West Palm Beach residents, and only City of West Palm Beach residents, can call 822-1250 to schedule an appointment. They are also assisting their residents with completing applications for CARES, and they also have a pot of money that they can assist if you're not able to get help through Palm Beach County. So, but that is for City of West Palm Beach residents. Okay. So I'm going to take a look at the chat and see if anybody has any questions. If you have any questions, you can go to the chat and ask those questions, or you can raise your hand. I will unmute you so that you can ask your question. Okay, so somebody has informed me that the moratorium is in effect until October the 1st. So if you're having issues with your landlord, I'm going to go back to this page. You can take a picture of this page and get some help with fighting that eviction. Okay, I'm not seeing where anybody has asked any questions. Okay. So, okay, so many of you joined after we had already gotten started. We had just an issue with the link, but this video will be on our website. You can watch it at your leisure. We are also going to be repeating this webinar on September the 24th at the same times, 12 in the afternoon and then 5 p.m. in the evening. Just so we can give you some reminders right before our systems open up again to accept new applications. Somebody says they're having issues with their FPL. I'm not sure what kind of issues you're having. If you could elaborate, I can open up the, I can unmute you and you can kind of tell us what you're having, your FPL bill. If you're having issues getting your FPL bill, our workers can help you get that bill, or the case manager that's working with your application can pull FPL bills. Now, FPL bills are one thing that we can help you get. Any other utility bills, we have to request the bill. We'd have to email them, or we'd have to call your utility company. It's much easier if you have a copy of your own bill. But the FPL bill, if you're having issues with that, you can give us a call, and you can have somebody email me, and I can get you a copy of any bill that you need. And my name is Doris Davis. So you can just tell them, can you email Doris, and she's going to help me get a copy of my bill. And I have Giselle. Giselle, you have a question. Do you need me to unmute you? Yes. Giselle, you're unmuted.
If the landlord will not cooperate and the lease has expired, even though you've been paying month to month, they will not give you a renewed lease or of any kind. What do you do with that?
Oh, I don't know. I honestly would have to confer to or refer you to legal aid. You might want to give them a call and see if they can help you with that. I'm not sure what to do with that, but contact Florida Rural Legal Services, and they'll tell you what to do. They are attorneys and they're trained, and they they can tell you what to do. And
Okay.
then they will screen you first, and then they will kind of assist you with that situation. So I think if you call them, you can leave a message and they'll get back to you.
Okay.
Okay. And I have the screen up. I still have the screen up. So you could go ahead and take a picture of the screen if you need to.
I did. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Okay. You're welcome.
Another question, not related to that one, but to another person that can try to help, is that when it's non-related, they do not. It's not because of COVID-19 that they need assistance. They have to wait until October 1st. Is that correct?
Yes, unfortunately, right now, all of our applications are on hold because we just have such a backlog we need to catch up with. So even if somebody were to apply now, they might not get help until October anyway. So this is just giving us some time to catch up. But once on October the 1st, they can come back and apply. We will be able to help them.
Last question. This help a third person. If
Go ahead. I'm listening.
adult son who lost their income moved back into the house, could they receive help?
Yes, definitely. But the son would be part of the household. He would be part of the bigger household.
Okay. All righty. I can
Yes.
tell them. So they all need the son information and their information.
It depends on which service you're applying for. Like if you're applying for COVID-19 assistance, only the applicant really has to provide their information. You don't have to provide information on everybody in the household. If he's the only affected person, have him do the application, but he will need to add everybody that's in the household.
Okay.
Because we're looking at household income.
Okay, but the bill is not in his name because again, that was an adult child that moved back.
Okay, so the bill is not in his name, but if it's affecting your whole household, him not having income is affecting the household. So you can, as long as all the somebody in the household that's on the application is if somebody on the household, if everybody on the household and the person whose bill the name is in is on the application, that is okay.
Okay.
So if my grandma lives, well, not my grandma, but let's say my mom lives with me or my aunt lives with me. She's elderly, but she's in my household. I put her on the application and the bill is in her name. That is okay. If my aunt lives across town and my light bill is in her name, that is not okay.
No, that's not it. Okay. Thank
you. You're welcome. Okay, so Janet Martinez. So let me find you so I can unmute you. Miss Martinez, hello.
Hi, how you doing? I really appreciate you having this. I was talking about my FPL bill. The thing is, I need help with utilities. I was applying before September 1st for utility help. I was just having technical problems with the online itself. Now, they told me that they're not accepting applications until the 1st, but my bill is already, I believe, 3 months behind just because of the COVID. I was a self-employed certified nursing assistant, and since the kids got out of school, I needed to stay home to take care of them, to be their primary caregiver. So I haven't applied for unemployment, one, because I don't know if I qualify because I was self-employed, and two, I also wanted to know if there's any possible way other than the Palm Beach County online to get utility help, because I'm just terrified that they're just gonna shut off the light or something like that.
There are several things that we might still be able to help you with. Even though we're not taking applications, were you able to submit your application at all?
No, I don't know if I spoke to someone. She was just she was a great lady, and she was telling me that to apply for the food assistance, and I did. I just have to return some information. But I wasn't able to finish the application for the utility because I was having some, like, I was putting my husband's information, his social, and it will completely erase it and then never let me finish the application. So I was trying to do that before September 1st. I was doing that, I believe, July 18th. So I was having problems for the 3 weeks beforehand, before it hit September 1st.
Okay, so why don't you put your phone number in the chat, and I will talk to you offline and see what we can help you with.
Okay.
We might be able to, first of all, we could probably refer you to some other agencies that might be able to help you.
Okay.
Then I can get our IT department to take a look at your application to see, or I can see if I can help you through first part of your application. Also, we have some other agencies that are really good at helping, and I'll give you some names of one of them that somebody can go to that's really good with working with these applications that can help you as well. If you
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Okay. So
Another
just,
thing,
sure.
would you know if I would qualify for unemployment? So since I've been unemployed since March, since the kids got out of school, I just didn't even really bother because I was a CNA, so I was self-employed. So I just assumed that I didn't qualify.
You could always, if you are able to show by documentary evidence, you should be able to qualify. Because
Okay.
you stop. I mean, you
Well, I
stop
did
being
pay
part of.
taxes every year. Like, I did do my taxes and stuff
Okay.
like that.
Thank you for paying your taxes. So you might be able to, we can help you put, we can take a look at your situation and then give you some guidance.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay, you're welcome. Let me see if there's anybody else. Let me, okay. So I don't see where I have anybody else that is asking any questions or have their hand raised. And let me check the chat one more time. Okay, so one more question I see here. When filling out the preliminary info, it says that the application may not be approved. Do you suggest they continue? Yes, I suggest you continue because you might, you might you might have done something wrong, or you might be able to show your situation through your attestation form. So I would say go ahead because sometimes if you answer those yes or no questions, the system might say that you probably don't qualify, but let a human look at it. And if you don't continue with your application, it'll never get to one of our eyes. It's a computer, and it's a software system. It's not perfect. It has its issues. So I would let it continue and see what happens. Okay, and one more question. Go ahead. Do you want me to unmute you? Not on the CARES Act applications. You don't necessarily have to report child support. It's not required. It's okay if you do. The income limits are fairly high. If you take a look, the income limits for CARES Act, for a household of 4, you have to make 122,000. So that's a lot of money. So a lot of people are going to qualify. So, but the CARES Act doesn't require that you report child support. Okay. And then Giselle, I have a question mark by your name. Did you have a question?
No, that was it. Answered it.
Okay, great. Okay, so I don't see any more questions. I don't see any more hands up. So I want everybody to have a wonderful evening. I'll say, okay, Linda McGill says she has a question. Let me find you. Hold on, Linda. Go ahead, Miss McGill.
Okay, sorry about my dog barking.
It's okay.
What if someone owes partial rent since the COVID started, April, and lease is up and they have to move? Will they pay for the other time that they're going to go to another lease?
So you're asking if we'll pay for a deposit for a new place?
Yes.
We are not paying deposits at this time, but we do have other programs that will pay your deposit.
Okay. And
Okay.
Would it transfer over? Because I understand that you'll be paying up until December.
Well, the CARES Act dollars, we have to spend it by December or whenever we use up the money. So if you were to apply for your past due rent, yes, you could get help with that if you're able to show you had a COVID-19 crisis. And then you could always apply for relocation if you need to move. And that's through our regular programs, our CSBG through Community Action, or our Human Services program will also help you relocate.
All right.
But they have lower income limits. That's the difference. CARES Act is a higher income limit because it's going by area median income. And then our CSBG program has a higher income limit because it's going by 125% of federal poverty guidelines. It's a little higher because of the COVID situation. So I think right now they're looking at 200 to 400% federal poverty guidelines, but the income limits are a little bit different. So you just might want to, when you put in your application, it will tell you preliminarily whether you would qualify or not.
Okay.
And you would just do a regular application.
Regular application
for the relocation.
A regular application, meaning not a COVID one.
Not exactly, not a COVID one. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, I see a couple more hands. Maximiliano.
Hi, this is Maximiliano's wife.
Okay.
Yes. We would like to know, when is the application available for us to submit it? Like, can we go online? Is there like a time that we have to start to submit it?
You can go ahead and do a food application if you need food assistance, but the rental and the utility won't be open again until October 1.
Okay. Oh, all right. Perfect.
But you can go ahead and get it ready. It'll stay in draft mode, and you will receive, because you attended today, you should receive an email notification that is open so that you can go ahead and submit your application.
All right. Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And Shanita Joseph, let me find you and unmute you. Ms. Joseph?
Yes, hi, I have a quick question. If, say that you owe money at your rental place that you're at now, and they need you to move, okay, they want to evict you. How would that work? Would you guys still pay the back payment to the formal rental place for the CARES Act? Pay that if I'm not living there any longer, if I move? Because I'm getting evicted?
That's kind of an iffy situation. I'm not sure. We have to ask. I think that we might not pay it, but I'm sure that if you are evicted, that Florida Rural Legal Services can pay that, or legal aid can help you with that.
Okay.
And do I need to change your screen again so you can get that information?
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So,
Do you have this in a PowerPoint, like you can send to us, or no?
well, this PowerPoint is going to be posted. I'm going to send it tomorrow. It should be posted by tomorrow.
It's going to be posted where? At the website, the Palm
On-
Beach website?
On Palm Beach County Community Services website. Yes.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
You are so welcome. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see if we have anybody else. Shadell, did you have a question? Ms.
Yes, ma'am,
McCoy?
I did.
Okay, go ahead.
I was wondering if there is an income guideline for the food application.
It's the same as the, hold on just a moment. I'm going to show you that slide. It's the same for the rental and the utility assistance.
Okay,
It's 140% area median income.
okay, got it.
So for a household of one, you can't make more than 86,000.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you so much.
you're welcome. Okay, and then I see Michelle Sims. Do you have a question? Michelle, you're unmuted. Ms. Sims?
Hello, yes, I have a question.
Yes.
I recently did fill out an application, but I think I filled out for rental assistance before August 31st. And I did fill it out. I think I might have filled it not COVID related, the wrong way. But I was just wondering if I would be able to correct that. Like would I be able to because I don't know if I by doing the application with the regular assistance, rental assistance, but they cover up to 3 months.
They will cover $2,500 of the rent.
100.
Yes.
Okay, for the regular.
So, yes.
rental.
So if you are more than 3 months behind, you can leave your application there and then apply in October as well for the COVID for what they don't pay for you.
Okay, that sounds
Okay,
good.
you just can't apply for the same months that you're applying on the first application.
Okay, got it.
That's 2 pots of money, so you should be able to do that.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Doris.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, and let me see. I think that's everybody that had questions. I'm trying to see if some people did not put their hands down after they finish your question. Okay, so I think I've gotten all the questions. And for Ms. Martinez, I'll reach out to you tomorrow. And let me see. Okay, so I think that's everybody. I think that's all the questions. If you have any further questions, feel free to contact us. And I'm going to put up this last screen again before we leave. How to reach us. You can reach us at 561-355-4792. And then City of West Palm Beach residents, you can also call 822-1250. And they also have a pot of money at the City of West Palm Beach that they can help you with. So everybody, please have a great evening. Thank you for joining us today. And remember that we're going to do this again on September the 24th. At 12 p.m. and at 5 p.m. So if you need or have additional questions at that time, you feel free to join us and get your questions answered. So have a wonderful evening.